Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. I am pleased to welcome you to this presentation. Today, we will be discussing document review in deviation and CAPA handling. My name is Dr. S.K. Singh, and I hold a PhD in this field. Over the course of this session, we will explore the key aspects of managing deviations and CAPA processes through effective document review. I look forward to sharing insights that can help streamline your procedures and ensure compliance. Let's get started. Welcome to today's session. Let's start with an introduction to deviation and CAPA review. These elements are absolutely critical in our quality systems within the pharmaceutical industry. Proper document review plays a key role here. It ensures that when deviations occur, they are investigated thoroughly and scientifically. This allows us to accurately identify the root causes of issues. Once we understand the causes, we can implement effective corrective and preventive actions. The goal is to prevent similar problems from happening again in the future. Regulatory agencies hold us to high standards. They expect us to have strong systems in place for documenting, reviewing, approving, and monitoring deviations and CAPAs. This is essential not just for compliance, but to ensure the safety and quality of our products. Ultimately, these processes protect patient safety and uphold good manufacturing practices. Now, why is this so important? It supports our overall quality management systems. It helps prevent recurring failures, which can be costly and damaging. It ensures we stay compliant with regulatory requirements. Plus, it improves our operational efficiency by addressing issues proactively. And most importantly, it safeguards both patient safety and the quality of the products we deliver. All of these points tie back to our overarching goal: maintaining the highest standards in pharmaceutical quality and patient care. Let's look at some common examples of deviations we might encounter. These include process parameter excursions, where conditions go outside the expected range, equipment malfunctions that disrupt operations, documentation errors that can lead to misunderstandings or mistakes, environmental monitoring failures that compromise product quality, and analytical test discrepancies, which may indicate issues with testing procedures or results. Now, what exactly do we mean by a deviation? A deviation is any unplanned departure from approved procedures, specifications, processes, or GMP requirements. It's important to understand that deviations can happen unexpectedly and need to be managed properly to maintain compliance and product quality. When we talk about understanding deviations, we need to recognize that they come in different forms. There are planned deviations, which are known ahead of time and approved as part of the process, and unplanned deviations, which happen unexpectedly and require immediate attention. Furthermore, deviations can be classified based on their severity. Critical deviations are those that could significantly impact product safety or efficacy. Major deviations might affect quality, but are not as severe as critical ones. Minor deviations are less impactful, but still need to be documented and reviewed. By understanding the types of deviations, we can better assess their impact, respond appropriately, and ensure our processes are continually improved. This, in turn, helps us stay compliant and deliver safe, effective products. Let's take a closer look at corrective and preventive actions. Corrective action is all about addressing a problem after it has occurred. It's the steps we take to eliminate the root cause of an identified nonconformance, ensuring that the same issue doesn't happen again. On the other hand, preventive action is proactive. It's about identifying potential problems before they happen and taking action to prevent them from occurring in the first place. Now, the main objectives of CAPA, corrective and preventive actions, are really about continuous improvement. We want to prevent recurrence of issues, of course, but also improve our process performance to make everything run more smoothly. Enhancing compliance is key as well, ensuring we meet all regulatory requirements. Reducing quality risks is another critical goal, as it helps us avoid serious problems down the line. And finally, strengthening our overall quality systems ensures that our processes are robust and reliable. So, whether we're fixing issues or preventing them, CAPA plays a vital role in maintaining high standards and driving continuous improvement across our organization. In this slide, we're focusing on the documents we review when handling deviations and CAPAs. Several departments are involved in this process, including production, quality assurance, quality control, engineering, and warehouse. Each of these teams plays a critical role in ensuring that deviations are thoroughly investigated and addressed properly. The scope of our document review is quite broad, encompassing key records that help us understand the root cause and effectiveness of our corrective actions. These include deviation reports and investigation reports, which give us initial insights into what went wrong. We also look at root cause analysis records to identify the underlying issues. CAPA plans and their effectiveness checks are essential to verify that corrective actions truly resolve the problems. Change control records document any modifications made during the process, while batch records, analytical data, and equipment logbooks provide detailed operational information. Additionally, training records ensure that staff are properly trained, and SOP revisions show how procedures have evolved to prevent recurrence. By reviewing all these documents comprehensively, we ensure a thorough understanding and effective resolution of deviations, aligning with our overall goal of continuous improvement and maintaining high-quality standards. Let's walk through the deviation review process, which is a critical part of maintaining quality and compliance. First, we start with the review workflow, where deviations are identified and reported. This is the initial step, and it's essential that any deviation is captured accurately and promptly. Next, we move into the initial assessment and classification. Here, we determine the nature and severity of the deviation, which helps us prioritize our response. Following that, an impact assessment is performed to understand how the deviation may affect product quality, safety, or compliance. Once we've assessed the impact, we conduct a root cause investigation. This step is vital because identifying the underlying cause allows us to implement effective corrective actions. Based on this, we determine the appropriate CAPA, corrective and preventive actions, to address the issue. After deciding on the CAPA, it goes through a QA review and approval process to ensure everything is in order before implementation. Then, we proceed with the CAPA implementation and close out the deviation. Finally, we verify the effectiveness of the actions taken to ensure the issue has been fully resolved. A key point to remember is that all deviations must be documented, thoroughly investigated, and closed within the timelines we've set. This ensures we maintain control and continuous improvement in our processes. Staying disciplined with this process is fundamental to our overall quality management system. Today, I want to talk about our main objective, which is to ensure that investigations are thorough, unbiased, and grounded in scientific principles. This is crucial because it helps us identify the true root causes and implement effective corrective actions. Next, let's look at the review focus areas. First, we need to evaluate the scientific justification behind identifying a root cause, making sure our reasoning is solid and based on data. We also need to confirm that supporting evidence is available and credible to back up our findings. It's equally important to identify any systemic issues that may be contributing factors across multiple areas or processes. We should also assess how the investigation impacts product quality, ensuring that our findings lead to meaningful improvements. Lastly, we need to judge whether the investigation has been thorough enough. Did we dig deep enough to uncover the real issues? Moving on, we evaluate the overall quality of the investigation itself. Did we follow a rigorous process? Was it objective and comprehensive? These are key questions to ask. Now, to assist with root cause analysis, we often rely on common tools. The 5 Why analysis is a simple yet powerful method, asking why repeatedly until we reach the core cause. The fishbone or Ishikawa diagram helps us visualize possible causes across categories like people, process, equipment, and materials. Fault tree analysis then allows us to map out potential failure pathways in a logical tree-like structure. Finally, risk assessment tools are vital. They help us evaluate the severity and likelihood of issues, prioritizing our investigation efforts and ensuring we're focusing on the most critical areas. All of these elements, scientific rationale, evidence, systemic insights, and the right tools, come together to strengthen our investigations and ultimately improve product quality and safety. Let's take a closer look at CAPA categories. First, we have immediate corrective actions, which are about addressing issues quickly to prevent further problems. Then, there are long-term preventive actions, designed to eliminate root causes and prevent recurrence over time. System improvement actions focus on enhancing overall processes to ensure sustained quality. Now, moving to CAPA documentation review. This is a crucial step to ensure everything is properly recorded and traceable. The review checklist helps us verify that each CAPA is linked to an identified root cause, making sure we're addressing the real issue. It's important that the action plan is clearly defined, so everyone understands what needs to be done. Responsibilities must be assigned to specific team members, and target completion dates are set to keep us on track. Conducting a thorough risk assessment helps us understand the potential impact of the issue and the effectiveness of our actions. Finally, defining effectiveness criteria allows us to evaluate whether the CAPA has successfully resolved the problem and prevented future occurrences. All these elements come together to create a comprehensive and effective CAPA process, which is essential for continuous improvement and maintaining high standards of quality. Let's talk about the regulatory expectation around CAPA closures. Essentially, a CAPA should only be considered closed after we've verified that its effectiveness has been properly documented. This means we need to see clear evidence that the corrective actions have actually worked. Some good examples of effectiveness include a reduction in repeated deviations, which shows that the problem isn't recurring, or improved process consistency, indicating more stable operations. Successful audit outcomes also serve as proof that our CAPA is effective and compliant with regulations. Now, to ensure we're truly verifying effectiveness, we conduct a CAPA effectiveness review. This involves several key checks. First, we verify recurrence prevention, making sure the issue doesn't come back. We review trend data to see if the problem has been consistently addressed over time. We also assess audit findings related to the CAPA and monitor process performance to detect any ongoing issues. Finally, we verify ongoing compliance to confirm that the corrective actions are sustained. All these steps help us ensure that, when we close a CAPA, it's genuinely effective and that we're maintaining the quality and compliance standards expected in our industry. Let's talk about the importance of good documentation in our processes. Ensuring data integrity and traceability is critical, especially during regulatory inspections. If our records are clear and accurate, inspectors can easily verify what was done and when, which builds confidence in our compliance. Now, the ALCOA Plus principles are the foundation here. They stand for attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate, and complete and consistent. Each of these elements plays a vital role in maintaining trustworthy records. For example, attributable means every entry should clearly indicate who made it and when, and legible ensures that records are readable at all times. Contemporaneous documentation is also crucial. It means recording data at the time the activity occurs, not afterward. This helps preserve the authenticity of the record. Original records are the first or primary version, and accuracy ensures the details are correct and reliable. Complete and consistent records provide a full picture without gaps or contradictions, which is essential during reviews. Connected to this is the concept of good documentation practices, or GDP. These practices guide us to create clear, accurate, and legible entries, no shortcuts. Documentation should be done contemporaneously, meaning in real time, to prevent errors or omissions. Records must be signed and dated, confirming who made the entry and when. Using controlled forms and templates helps standardize our documentation, making it more reliable. And importantly, we must avoid overwriting or making unauthorized changes. as that can compromise the integrity of the record. By adhering to these principles and practices, we ensure our documentation stands up to scrutiny, supports regulatory compliance, and ultimately helps us deliver quality and safety in everything we do. Let's talk about some of the regulatory consequences that companies can face if they fall short of compliance. One of the most serious is receiving FDA warning letters, which directly highlight violations and require prompt corrective action. Alongside that, GMP observations often point out deviations from good manufacturing practices, which can lead to further scrutiny. In severe cases, products may need to be recalled to protect consumers. Additionally, regulatory agencies tend to increase inspection frequency for organizations with ongoing issues, making compliance even more critical. Now, looking at common deficiencies that we see, incomplete investigations are a major concern because they leave issues unresolved and can lead to repeated problems. Delayed deviation closures also pose risks, as unresolved deviations can impact product quality and regulatory standing. Weak root cause analysis is another frequent issue. If the root causes aren't properly identified, corrective actions may not be effective. This ties into CAPA, or corrective and preventive actions, which must be directly linked to the root cause. Otherwise, they won't address the real problem. Ineffective CAPA implementation can mean the issue persists despite efforts to fix it. Furthermore, a lack of effectiveness checks on CAPA measures can undermine the entire process, making it appear that issues are resolved when they might still be present. Lastly, poor documentation practices are a recurring problem. Without thorough, accurate records, it becomes difficult to demonstrate compliance or track corrective actions. All of these points highlight how vital it is to maintain robust, compliant processes, not just to avoid regulatory penalties, but to ensure product quality and patient safety. Let's take a closer look at personnel responsibilities in our deviation management process. First, the department or user has the crucial role of reporting any immediate deviations as soon as they occur. This prompt reporting is essential for rapid response and containment. They also need to ensure accurate documentation of the deviation, capturing all relevant details clearly and thoroughly. Additionally, supporting investigation activities is key, as this helps us understand the root cause and prevent recurrence. Moving on to reviewers and supervisors, their responsibilities include verifying that all information provided is complete and accurate. They must also ensure that there's a solid scientific justification for any corrective actions taken. Monitoring the progress of CAPAs, or corrective and preventive actions, is vital to make sure issues are effectively addressed and closed in a timely manner. Finally, our quality assurance team plays a vital oversight role. They oversee the entire deviation and CAPA system to maintain integrity and compliance. They review and approve closures of deviations to confirm that all corrective measures are appropriate. They also monitor trending data and overall compliance to identify any patterns or areas needing improvement. Connecting all these responsibilities back to our overall theme, it's clear that a well-defined, collaborative approach ensures deviations are managed efficiently, root causes are addressed properly, and our quality standards are upheld consistently. Now, let's focus on strengthening our deviation and CAPA systems through some recommended best practices. First, establishing robust SOPs is essential. Clear and well-defined procedures help ensure consistency and accountability across the board. Next, regular training for employees keeps everyone up to date on procedures and reinforces our commitment to quality. Using risk-based investigation approaches allows us to prioritize issues that could have the most significant impact, making our investigations more effective. Implementing electronic tracking systems can streamline the monitoring process, making it easier to identify patterns and trends. Monitoring recurring deviations and trends is vital because it helps us pinpoint systemic issues that need addressing. Conducting periodic CAPA effectiveness reviews ensures that our corrective actions actually resolve the problems and prevent recurrence. Lastly, Strengthening QA oversight and management review keeps quality at the forefront, providing ongoing oversight and continuous improvement. Moving into continuous improvement, lessons learned programs are crucial. They help us capture insights from past issues to prevent future mistakes. Monitoring quality metrics allows us to track performance over time and identify areas for enhancement. And finally, process optimization initiatives enable us to refine our workflows, making them more efficient and resilient. All these elements tie back to our overall goal, creating a culture of continuous improvement that supports high quality and compliance throughout our organization. Let's wrap up by emphasizing the importance of effective deviation and CAPA review in maintaining GMP compliance. When these processes are thorough and well executed, they help ensure that our operations meet the necessary standards and regulations. Scientifically sound investigations are crucial because they lead to better product quality and, most importantly, enhance patient safety. Strong documentation practices can't be overlooked either. They support data integrity and make sure we can trace our actions and decisions back if needed. Verifying the effectiveness of CAPAs is another key step. It helps us prevent issues from recurring, saving time and resources in the long run. Finally, having robust quality systems in place boosts our inspection readiness and drives operational excellence across the board. All these points connect to the overall theme, building a culture of quality that not only complies with regulations, but also prioritizes delivering safe, reliable products. For further support, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you have any questions or need additional information, I'm here to help. You can contact me through the provided details. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. I appreciate your interest and engagement. Remember, we're always available to assist you as you move forward. Thank you again.